Well, good morning, and it's a beautiful morning here on Harrison Island in Western Australia, and I'm here to talk to you today about using the Olympus OM Zuiko 50mm f1.4 on a digital camera. The Olympus 50mm f1.4 was one of the original lenses that was introduced when the OM system was launched at Photokina in 1972. The original silver-nosed version, a term referring to the chrome front ring, had a single lens coating and was 36mm in length and weighed 228 grams. The newer multi-coated version, which my copy is, was introduced in 1984. Along with the new improved lens multi-coating, the design was changed, resulting in a length of 40mm with a weight of 280 grams. The lens construction, however, remained the same, being 7 elements in 6 groups. Despite being a fast lens, it has a modest 49mm filter thread. The vital statistics for the lens are as follows. The aperture ratio is 1 to 1.4. As I said, the lens construction is 7 elements in 6 groups. The aperture range is f1.4 to f16. The angle of view is a diagonal at 46 degrees. The focusing range was 0.45 meters to infinity. The diaphragm was automatic with 8 straight blades. The filter attachment size is 49mm. The old version, single coated version, being 36mm. The multi-coated version being 40mm, and the weight for the original version being 228 grams, and that of the latter version being 280. Like all lenses of its vintage, the build quality is something not usually seen these days. The mount and body are made out of metal. The mount is chromed brass and the body has a nice satin black finish. Moving forward from the mount, we see a focus scale complete with aperture markings for hyperfocal distances. The focusing ring has a knurled rubber grip with a diamond checker that is common to all the Zuiko lenses. The focusing is buttery smooth, and the ring has a focus throw of 180 degrees from 0.45 of a meter to infinity. The aperture ring is at the end of the lens. This is one of Olympus's little foibles and makes sense when you use one of the OM SLRs, which had the shutter speed dial around the lens mount throat. It meant you could control the shutter and aperture without taking your hand away from supporting the lens. The aperture is click-stopped in full stops. The OM Zuiko 50mm f1.4 suffers from pronounced chromatic aberration when shooting in high contrast situations. In terms of sharpness at f1.4, the image is universally soft and lacking in contrast, with the centre being better than the corners. Stopping down to f5.6 improves the image, and the lens is sharp across the frame, with the centre being a bit better than the corners. The lens renders beautifully with a gentle fall-off in tones. The bokeh is a delight, being soft and smooth, but the 8-bladed diaphragm does not produce round bokeh balls. Shooting into the light, there is ghosting and a fair degree of veiled flare. And here we see how stopping down the lens from f1.4 to f16 affects the depth of field. Remember, however, that the closer you are to a subject, the more the depth of field diminishes. It is not uncommon now for an f1.4 standard lens to have a filter diameter of 77mm. The Olympus has a diameter of 49mm, which means that you're not using filters the size of dinner plates. It also means that if you use filter systems such as Bokeh or Lee, then you can get away with using 84mm filter holders without encountering vignetting, which keeps costs down. Enough of lens charts and tests. Here are some real-world samples shot on either a Sony a7R or an Olympus OM EM10. And this is what the Olympus 50mm f1.4 looks like when filming video. If we compare Sony's cheapest standard lens, the FE 50mm f1.8, with no lens profile applied, with the Olympus f2 and f5.6, we see that the Sony is sharper, has more contrast, less chromatic aberration and a lot less distortion. When we compare the bokeh of both lenses shot wide open, there is not a lot to choose. Both don't have completely round bokeh balls, but if I were to split hairs, the Sony is a little smoother. Price-wise, the Sony is $699 Australian dollars, while if you are after a mint late model Olympus 50mm f1.4, then you can expect to pay in the region of $350 to $400 Australian on eBay. If you're prepared to accept an earlier version, you can often find them bundled with OM1 or 2 bodies for about $200 Australian dollars. Whether you use it on full frame, APS-C or micro four thirds, the Olympus is a fine lens that performs very well considering the price you'll pay for it and its age. I hope you found this informative, and thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.